trickling in. Want to welcome everybody to the lobby. Really excited with our guest today. Samuel is someone I deeply respect in the industry. He's a mentor, he's a colleague, and more importantly, he's become a great friend of mine. And I deeply respect him and love what he's doing to impact and help others in the medical sales industry. So really excited to have him on today. So Samuel, thank you for making time.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here, Kendi. Thank you for the
Samuel,
introduction.
I don't think, anybody in the medical sales space probably doesn't know who you are, seen your name, has seen your program. I mean, you're all over the place and impacted so many people. But, what I love in anybody's stories is the early days, right? Whether it's a company, the founding days, the grinding days, reps that built $1 million territories and walked across the stage as President's Club. The first thing I want to know is like, how do you build it, right? Tell me about the earlier days. So Samuel, what I'd love to hear is your earlier days in the industry, before EYS, before the podcast success, right? Before all those things. When did you first know that medical sales was for you, and what was that journey like for you in the industry?
Yeah, no, it's funny because when I learned about medical sales, I didn't know about medical sales. Um, Back in college, I was a lab tech. So there was a scientist I was working with. He was working on diuretic. I was one of the lab managers at his lab, and I had just finished a degree in biology, and I was either thinking, med school or something, or maybe be a scientist like the guy that I'm working for. And he would tell me all the time, Samuel, you should really look into medical sales, man. Pharmaceutical sales, med device sales. You got a knack for that. You understand the science. You have a personality. You should check it out. And I remember, I looked for two. I was trying to just secure work out of the lab, and and I knew I wanted to be in sales because it gave me the most autonomy and freedom to just do what I want to do. And I had an opportunity to go for a pharma position and an opportunity to go for a sales rep for cell phones position. And I bring that story up because at the time I really saw those opportunities as like dead on equal, right? Like, I can work for Sprint or I can work for a big med tech company. And it's the same, it's the level of opportunity is pretty much the same. And of course, 20 years later, it's a completely different experience. But I chose the pharma company. I interviewed with three companies, and I ultimately got into GlaxoSmithKline. And at first, I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know much about the business of medicine. But after my first year, I was sold. I mean, gosh, 460 or 70 reps. And after the first year, I was the number two rep in the organization. And I was thinking,
Wow.
okay, this is this. And I loved the job, right? I loved getting with these
Yeah.
physicians. I loved having that discussion. I love when they would look at me and think, there's no way I'm going to use that product. And then, after a couple conversations, they're like my number one writer. Like just that whole effort was extremely exciting for me. And that's when I knew after the first year that this is where I'm supposed to be, and that's where I stayed.
That's incredible. I love it. I love hearing the early days of getting in the industry and building that territory. Um, you know, Tell me about, you know, as you go through your career, obviously you make different moves throughout your career and you make different jumps from company to companies, but what was it that kind of you think set you apart in those days? And I think would later turn into how you were going to help others.
Sure,
Was there
sure.
something you thought you figured out during that process
Yeah,
and eventually led into some of the programs you build now?
I'll be honest. I'm a Nigerian American, in our culture, the work that you take on is really important, and it's a cultural thing to be a performer in whatever you take on. Now, everybody should have that
Yeah.
sentiment, but I stress the Nigerian part of that because it really is a cultural thing. If you know any Nigerians, they take their professional endeavors very seriously, and so I kind of had that same ideology. Like, hey, if this is, I had this amazing year in this space. If medical sales is going to be my space, then let's double down and go nuts. What I didn't suspect though, and I brought this up because I had a podcast where I talked about this, I had a personal setback, and that personal setback just took me out of the element of being that wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, give yourself that pep talk, and go out there and kill the day, right?
Yeah.
and I just wasn't in the mindset to go and show up that way. So that's when I started looking into organizations that work with professionals to show up, especially after a setback, or they exist for people that have had a setback, and they exist for people that are about to take a huge step that maybe they don't feel prepared for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I got with one of these organizations, and I was really intrigued by what they were talking about. I went to a seminar, and somebody was giving a talk about what their philosophies and values are. And I said, I'm gonna sign up for a 3 month program with these guys and see where it takes me. And it was game changing. It I learned, that's when I really got, I tell people that I was introduced to Tony Robbins at a fairly young age. I was 25, and it
Yeah.
was right when this personal stuff was going on. And that was like the beginning, right? And Tony Robbins has a lot of just traditional philosophies around how to show up more empowered, and obvious stuff that you can pretty much Google anywhere. But when I went to these seminars, I mean, they went into why not just operate with integrity, but why is it so important to operate with integrity? What are the long lasting effects of showing up that way? Why is it important to make sure you're the first one to any venue, no matter what's going on? Why is it important to make sure that if you say you're going to commit to these customers and get this kind of outcome, literally do everything within your power to bring that to fruition, because your word and what you put out there is everything. And these kinds of philosophies, and they had all these role plays and experiential learnings to ingrain how to show up. And they were really good at keeping you away from everyone for like 3 months to just get this indoctrinated into how you show up, so that when you go back into the real world and everyone's just giving you what they give you can still act in this way. And it was incredibly powerful. I mean, the things I learned were just unbelievable. And I said, there's power and there's value in understanding how to communicate with people, understanding how to read and understand people, and understanding how to positively influence people. And all that, and all I mean by that is understanding how to empower the next person. There's so much value in having that ability, that it just took me on this journey of, I want to know how to do this, how to empower someone at the maximum level. So I share all that because, yes, I was in pharmaceutical sales, then I got into biotech sales, and now I was in medical sales, and I'm doing my thing. But this experience kind of pulled me out of just that scope, and it put
Yeah.
me into this area of, yes, medical sales is amazing, and you're literally changing patients' lives, which is doubly amazing. But there's this whole other passion I have, where if you know how to empower someone to do something they think they can't do, or do something they're intimidated to take on, it's a game changer for that person's life. And it's so cool to watch, because you have that impact on that one person. They literally go on to have it on two other people, who then go on to have I mean, it's just like this ripple effect of just empowerment. And what I love about that is, I'm a dreamer, right? I'm the guy that's like, I want to do this. And it's like, Sam, that's ridiculous. You want to do what? That's never going to work. You weren't even trained in that. You have no education. But, and I love hearing that, because I'm the guy that, it's countless how many times I've made something that I have no idea what's going on, or just wanted to do, and I've turned it into one of my skill sets. And it's that attitude of knowing that if you can get empowered, there's almost nothing you can't do within the frame of reality, but there's almost nothing you can't do. And I take that to heart. And it became a philosophy I just want to preach and teach. So I'm on the medical sales track. 2018 hits, and I'm getting to the point in my career where it's like, okay, it's time to make some decisions. Do you want to be a senior leader? Do you want to start your own thing in medical sales space? Well, where are you trying to take things? And I had this, I have to take it back to the coaching and the empowering. That's what I want. So I went that direction. I got my ICF certification, and kind of learned how to be a better coach and a better communicator. And then I'm telling you, Kendi, communication is everything. When I really practiced how to do that effectively, coach and communicate, our business took off. And so now it's, yes, we help you get into medical sales. We help medical sales reps be amazing. We help med tech entrepreneurs and med tech high performing professionals become, branded rock stars on the LinkedIn platform and sell to their customers powerfully. But it's all backed by this passion to empower people. And that's really
Yeah.
what Evolve Success is about. So I feel like I found the sweet spot in being able to ride the train of my career organically, which is medical sales in general, while really, doubling down on my passion of empowering people. And here we are.
Samuel, I love it. Thank you for sharing all that. I think it's so impactful what you've done. And, I know you and I have talked about this previously, but, we went through kind of similar challenges in life. And when you go through those challenges, it really makes you stop and think about what you're doing and how you want to show up. And I see so many similarities in the way we were both impacted and the way we show up now. There's a quote I came across during, when I was looking at my transition from sales to the lobby, and it talks about the difference between success and significance. And I look at your career, and you're so successful in the industry, and it achieves so many things. But what I hear now is you want to be significant. When they talk about significance, it's about helping others, and you've helped so many people in the industry now through your program and really showing up in that way. We have a personal mission and goal with the lobby to help 100,000 people.
Hey, come on.
And I know we're trying to follow in your footsteps.
Hey, no,
I know
no, come on.
you
We're all
made a
trying to
huge
do the same
impact.
thing here.
Well, the same, but what I think is so impressive and why I wanted to have you on today is not only what you've done, but what you're building. And it's a very impactful program. You've helped a lot of reps. You're still going to help a lot of reps for many years to come. But tell us a little bit about EYS, right? You built this program. You decided you wanted to help others. But tell us about what the program is, who's it for, and what do you guys do? For somebody that maybe doesn't know the details of the programs.
Sure, sure, sure. So I'll try to, without rambling here, because I'm talking about I'm talking about something I'm so passionate about. When we talk about our passion, we tend to
Yeah.
ramble. But without rambling here, I'll say this: Evolve Your Success is a company and platform for transformation. I think that really captures what we are. We're a company and platform for transformation. I mean, we want to help you transform. Now, where we currently specialize is we have gotten exceptionally good at helping people get into the medical sales space for obvious reasons, right? I've been in the career 20 years. I've seen from training to management to just being an individual contributor. I've seen a lot of how it goes and how to move up and what to do to get to whatever stage you're trying to get to, including getting the job. We turned that into a program, and now we've been able to invite mentors and coaches and other high performing reps and managers and recruiters to have this almost like pathway that if you're serious about getting into the right position with the right company and the right specialty, then we can help you get there the fastest. And that's because of everything we put into our program to help people do that. And that is our flagship program, helping people. It's called the Medical Sales Career Builder, and it literally helps you get into medical sales so you can build your career. That's the flagship for Evolve Your Success. That's the flagship for probably the first inflection of our what we call transformation. Then we have our sales training, and that's to help active medical sales reps that want to be better. They either want to get into Winner Circle, President's Club, or if they don't have any of that, they want to be a top 10% performer in their organization. And we have our it's called Sales Builder, and that's literally to help you build your sales to be a performer. Almost every single client that we've had in that program has went on to get into Winner Circle. Some we had one client 5 years. He was trying to get into Winner Circle. It was not happening. He took our 3-month program and he's in Winner Circle today. So it's kind of cool. So we have that. And then finally, we have our what we call MedIcon, and that's our service for LinkedIn. As you guys can see, Evolve Your Success. I'm on LinkedIn. I have about 25,000 followers. It's not a ton, but where it is special to even be able to say that is there's a time I had 0. And now we have, 5 of our employees also have LinkedIn profiles and are active on LinkedIn, that we coach them on what to do. And my biggest brag that I'm so happy just to be able to share is, we opened up one of our employees' profiles in September of 2024. 0 followers. She had nothing going on. By December, just a few weeks ago, I think she's almost at 7,000 or 8,000 followers. And she's had 3 posts that have had over 10,000 reactions. So it's like, wow, we've really figured something out. We know how to push a message and connect to the right people on this platform, and then drive them to want to invest in the solutions for whatever problems they have. And that's it. Those are our 3 departments: the Medical Sales Career Builder to get in and to get a job. So that even applies to people that have been laid off. if you're in medical sales and you've been laid off, you can't get back in the game, you're not sure, or you're in medical sales and you want to transition into a different space, maybe pharma to med device or med device to wound care or wound care to capital equipment, whatever it is, Medical Sales Career Builder helps you get the job. And then our sales training helps you be better. And like I said, our MedIcon program helps you sell on the LinkedIn platform in a powerful way.
I love it. I love it. I mean, you're helping so many people in so many different ways, right? And what I love about your programs, and you and I have connected, is you help them at all stages, right? If you're just trying to get in the industry, you got a program that can work with a coach there. If you're in it trying to get to that next level, you can work there. If you're, like I was as a rep, never really utilized LinkedIn and want to start diving into that world, want to grow your following, want to grow your influence on LinkedIn, you guys have a program for that. So I think it's so incredible. Each of those programs, and that you have something for everybody that's on the call, right? Because everybody's at one of those stages, I would imagine, either trying to get in the industry or in it,
Right.
trying to, level up at some level. Um, I've worked with a number of coaches in my career. I started as an athletic coach. I've been a coach. I've worked with probably 4 or 5 different coaches. I still have coaches today. As I push into different phases of my career and my life, I always want to have someone ahead of me. And as I went from sales rep to, lobby founder, it was like, well, now I'm in a different world. I need to know somebody that knows this world. So I brought in a business coach. We've transitioned from a few business coaches as the lobbies continue to grow and evolve. I believe in always having somebody above you, right, or in front of you that's pulling you forward. And also, I believe in turn around having somebody behind you, right, that you're pulling forward as well. And you should always have those 2 people in your life. So big believer in coaching programs. I love what you're doing. So thank you for all that. Is there anything you would share, about the program, or maybe a little nugget you would give that say, hey, if you're, in one of these buckets, here's, really how we can help you, or here's a little piece of advice I would give you to kind of help you out.
Yeah, I think to answer that question, I want to just kind of make some points. For example, let's talk about sales training, and then I'll talk about getting into the medical sales. Then I'll talk about branding yourself as an ambassador and influencer on the LinkedIn space. So when it comes to sales training, there are so many things that people experience that they don't talk about, right? For example, it's one thing to join a company and to learn how to sell and open and pre-call plan and close your customer and meet the staff and invite them to be friends within your space so that they call on you when they need your solution for any type of patient experience or case or anything that's going on. But there's little things that they don't talk about. Like, for example, what if you join a company and you don't understand how to get along with your manager? What if you have a conversation with your manager and you have this feeling of, I don't know how to do something, but I'm not comfortable asking because I don't want to be seen as that person that's not paying attention, or maybe they told me already, and this little thing you don't follow up on. And then that becomes another thing, and that becomes another thing. I mean, this happens all the time, Kendi. You probably know what I'm talking about, where people stick with companies, people stay in teams, and there's so much disconnect. But because they're afraid of the perception that they might develop in that organization or that team, they make very little effort to get clarity, and then mistakes start to happen. And when you have a full team and these little mistakes are all happening, it gets into uh, making it an obstacle for the team to be successful. And I think it's little things like that that make our programs a little different, because we're trying to, like you said, we're trying to address the entirety of the lifespan of a medical sales professional, but not just the brass tactics that the A, B, and C to do the job, but the little things that no one's talking about that have often gotten in people's way. We're trying to have those conversations. And that just doesn't go for sales training. That goes for our medical sales career builder too, right? Because you have these people that, let's talk about the person that wants to get into the industry. Everyone's told you have to have sales and you have to have medicine. If you don't have that, forget it. And there's truth to that, in the sense of, if you have sales and you have medicine, you might have a better chance. But there's an absence of truth to that, in that that's not what hiring managers are trying to hire. Hiring managers are trying to understand a couple things. Number one, they want to make sure this person has legitimate work ethic that's proven. They want to make sure this person can be told no 1,000 times and act like they've never heard no ever, and they're just trying to get that yes. And then 3, they want to make sure this person's a quick study. Whatever I throw at them, whether it be a procedure, education, science, the process, will they pick it up and act on it? Now, experience informs that you might have that. Will you have it? No, it's not. It's not guaranteed. As you've seen, there's people that have been working for 5 years and they get the job and it's like, wait, how did you get here? You don't even know what you're supposed to be doing. How did this happen? Right. So
Yeah.
just because a person has experience doesn't mean they're a shoo-in. But when you don't know anything, and this is a perfect stranger, having experience versus not having experience is informative enough to say, well, I'd rather take my chances on the person that has experience. So our program is about, well, how do we take what you got going on, whatever it is, and showcase that so that it supports what you don't have with the medicine experience or the sales experience. And people don't understand how powerful that can be, right? And that's the sweet spot. And that's the kind of value you want to provide for people. One of the stories I can share is, we had she was a single mother, hadn't worked for 10 years, 10 years, but trying to get in medical sales for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years when she found us. And she said, Samuel, I haven't worked for 10 years. I'm a single mom. I don't even know how to start. No one's taking me seriously. Forget, do I have experience? They don't even want to talk to me because I haven't been working. And she wanted to work for one of the biggest companies out there. And I'm a dreamer, so I'm not like, oh well, you don't have sales experience, you don't have medical experience, and you haven't worked for 10 years. So just, sorry, but it's not gonna happen. No, we actually sat down, we figured out a plan, and long story short, she is now a leader working for one of the biggest companies in the world, Stryker. And it's like, wow, she got that opportunity from being a single mom that hadn't worked for 10 years. How did that happen? And that's the
Yeah.
beauty about what we're doing. We were able to get it deep enough into what she had going on, craft it to bring out her strengths, help her showcase that in a powerful way, and then move forward. And it works. That type of approach works, but it's not easy. It's not straightforward. And we're blessed to be able to have enough experience to know how to make it happen for others.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so valuable. And I want to get that message across is that process of applying to jobs, interviewing for jobs, having your resume buttoned up, and having a coach and a mentor walk you through that and connect you to those people is so valuable, right? If we were to post a job today on LinkedIn, we'd have 100 applicants by tomorrow, right? There's so many people applying, and I think it's how do you kind of weed yourself out from that noise, right? How do you, and that's what as a coach, I would assume you guys, are guiding people in that process. It's challenging. You don't know where to start. You don't know, the interview process is a lengthy process for most companies, and knowing each of those phases and each of those steps and how to show up is so important. So I just what I love about it is you guys provide that mentorship and that guidance because you have so much experience in the industry and walking students and people through that process.
Yeah, I think there's a psychology that I really don't hear anyone talk about when it comes to getting hired. And I think people are missing an opportunity. For example, I talk to a lot of managers. Every day I talk to sales managers and senior leaders. And I ask them, hey, when it comes to talking to strangers about the opportunity that medical sales presents, whether it be for your company or the industry as a whole, what do you see? And the complaint I hear the most is when somebody says, Samuel, what really gets to me? It's when, as busy as I am as a manager, a senior leader, busy with my team, my company, trying to impact patients' lives. I finally take the time to give this random person that asked me a question 10 minutes. And when we get on the phone, they say, so what's your job and what do you do? And do you like it? And I hear that complaint more than anything else. And what they say is, why do people not have the foresight to understand that if you're going to go out of your way to put in all this effort and finally get my time, you're going to bring something to the table that's going to have me appreciate the fact that I'm giving it to you. And that's a psychological play, because the reality is when you're trying to get into medical sales and you don't have sales experience and you don't have medical experience, heck, maybe you don't even have a bachelor's degree, you have an associate's degree or something like that. Your goal is on introduction, somebody has to believe that you're worth giving the benefit of the doubt. That means from the way your resume is designed, to the way your LinkedIn profile looks, to the very message you introduce yourself with, you have to know that if you can put your best foot forward with these opportunities, it will literally transform your experience. Because if you don't, and you just put a random message or send a random resume or a random profile that has not been updated and doesn't represent you well, you're doing the opposite. That hiring manager has already dinged you So now you're fighting an uphill battle. Our program is trying to get people to stop fighting uphill battles, have them start in the right place, and then truly give them the skills to get the job, from the sales acumen and how they can demonstrate it without having traditional experience, from the medical acumen and they can demonstrate it to how to put together a powerful business presentation that shows you actually know what you're talking about if you were given a territory and responsibility, right?
Yeah.
And I know I am starting to ramble, but I have to speak to this. So so
This is gold. Give it
so
out.
so I hear this narrative of, oh, but well, Samuel, I don't like talking to people because they went to a program and they were trained how to show up, and that's I don't even know if if they really show up that way. So I gotta say this, we are not here to create posers, right? That's not the game here. The game here is most people that are serious about the craft they already have and that have shown up every day to do it and that just want to improve. Most people are coachable in that regard. Most people, in my personal opinion, most people, if they care to, could become amazing medical sales reps. The challenge is not posing someone or training someone to fake it and get in. It's training someone to bring out their best so that what they get in with is appreciated, acknowledged, and then they're allowed to do what they can do and hopefully do an amazing job. In
Love
our
it.
program, in the beginning, in the early days, it was all about, you want to get into medical sales? I can help. You want to be a better sales rep? I can help. You want to sell on LinkedIn? I got you. And over the years, we've seen that, yeah, anyone, not anyone, but I'm sure someone that cares enough can create an effective program to get someone a job. But the thing that people don't realize is not everyone should be getting that job. And not everyone is is showing up the right way to be given that job right now. And one thing I never thought is, we have all these clients now, or students now, and we have to stratify our students. We have to say, okay, is this person showing up consistently versus this person? Is this person? And so now our program has become not just helping you, but coaching you so you can get to that level so that if you do get this job, you're going to show up the way you need to and be successful. It's evolve your success, right? It's not just get the thing and yeah, we won. That's it. No, we got to get the thing the right way and we got to get the right thing so that when you're in this, you go on to perform. So I don't even remember what the question was, but
That's
that's just
it's
something
incredible.
I had to let me know.
Samuel, what I love is, A, your passion. You can just tell you love this. You can tell you love helping others, and also like this process, right? You've got this process down, and what's so important as applicants, no matter if you're trying to get in this industry or you're a 10-year rep, applying to a new job, you've got to find a way to stand out, right? And separate yourself out from the others. And so, as you talk about networking, right? That manager that's frustrated by one person is going to love someone that's been coached by you how to ask the right questions, and right there they're already going to stand out from their peers. So I think that's so important, and something you're doing such a good job with. Networking's huge. It's a big part of what we believe in the lobby. It's what we were built on, is our networking events that we host all throughout the country. We're now in 30 cities throughout the U.S. And are planning to host events in each of those cities here in the first quarter.
You guys are growing like
Um,
wildfire, man. It's amazing to see.
for anybody that's listening, I don't know that we've actually publicly, announced it yet, but Samuel and I are going to be working together on those on a number of those events in Q1 to bring their coaches in to help do some sales training at these events. So they're not just networking events, but an opportunity for you to level up your career. And that was something I always wanted as a sales professional. It's a big reason why I started the lobby, because there was nowhere for me to go,
Right.
just to network, get around like-minded individuals, get around other sales reps, and get better at what I do, right? And so we're honored and proud to be working with Samuel and his EYS team in Q1 at a number of venues in different cities throughout the U.S. I know in particular you've got an event coming up in January in San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
First
love for
one.
you to, yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love for you
Yeah.
to share a little bit
All
about
right. All
what you
right.
guys are doing at that event, and what that
Yeah.
looks like in San Diego.
Yeah, so this is our first live event. Gosh, let me say this, Kendi. It's exciting to be here because our business is 100% virtual. Uh, we are going to be working on having medical sales operating room training where certain students can invest in being flown out to certain areas to go practice. But right now, we're 100% virtual, and we've been around for, gosh, our first client was uh, the end of 2020. So yeah, yeah, 2020. So you know, I have people I've been working with for the past 3, 4 years that I've never actually seen in person. It's been strictly a Zoom conversation. I have a lot of Zoom friends. So now to be able to have our first live event where we're all going to be meeting and being together, it's truly exciting. So it's happening in San Diego. It's at a place called Herb and Wood. I'm sure the address and things like that will be in the notes of this talk. But yeah, it's called Herb and Wood, and we're gonna have 3 parts. So number one, we're gonna have a graduation ceremony. We have all these hundreds of people that have graduated, and they're all over the country, so only so many will be able to make it. But we're having a broadcast portion and a live portion, and we're hoping to get at least 10 to 15 graduates live, and maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 on the virtual, and then we're gonna celebrate them. And then we have a section where I'm going to be interviewed, just like you're doing now, Kendi. People want to know, well, what is Evolve Success? Why is it that? What does it do? What are you guys about? So I'm going to be able to talk to speak to that and maybe answer some questions that people have. And then the last section, which is not going to be broadcasted, that's going to be a panel. And so we're bringing a VP from a very large med tech company, a VP from a startup. We're bringing a couple high performing sales reps from different industries. We're bringing one of our graduates and myself, and we're going to be on a panel, and it's going to be, some questions that you can ask us that we're going to have already prepared that we're asking people to send in, and then questions that you want to ask, and anything goes. Now, hopefully the people that come ask reasonable questions. And I know say anything goes, that means anything can go. But honestly, I'm not scared of challenge. You know, right now, okay, I'll tell you what I mean. So right now we're building our school community. As long as we've been around, we haven't really, besides LinkedIn, we don't have like this is the EYS Hangout. So we're building a school community because that is going to become the EYS Hangout. And in one of the channels, we have this like Ask Us Anything. And I'm serious. I want everyone asking everything. Even the question of, well, why should I have to pay to get help to get into the medical sales profession? Or why should I have to pay to be better at my job? Or whatever your question is, there's no wrong question. We want to be able to answer it because I think transparency in this space is going to really uplift this space. Look, no one's perfect. No company is perfect. Some companies have their missions and they're not aligned with other people's values, and it's just what it is. But people do need to see that as far as we are concerned, we are trying to be the most transparent company out there. We want everybody to see that we stand by what we offer, and we want everybody to see that there's value in everything everyone's trying to do in the medical sales space that's providing help. There's value. There's value in every program out there that is trying to get you in. There's value in every training program to be better at sales. You need to learn how to decipher the ones that are for you, but there's value, and it's time for people to see that it's true value. It's not a money grab. It's not just a business scheme. No, it's true value that's being created, and that's one of our goals and efforts, and that's what we're trying to also showcase with this January 25th event.
Awesome. Well, for anybody that's in the area, I encourage you to attend. It's going to be a great opportunity to network, to learn more about this program, to listen to these speakers. If you're not in one of these areas, check the lobby. We do have, like I said, 30 other cities where we're going to be hosting events in Q1. So be sure and check on the events tab there. A number of the EYS coaches will be talking and presenting at those meetings as well, and sharing their knowledge, right? How can we all learn from y'all's experience? And we'll be covering a number of different topics.
And
So,
and
yeah,
don't forget to mention it's Urban Wood, which is a top-rated venue in San Diego. We're providing all the
nice.
food at this nice, classy place, and we're providing all the drinks. So you literally,
Nice.
all you have to do for anyone listening, if you're not near San Diego, you're just gonna go to your computer and book a flight. So if you're not near San Diego and you can make it, yes, go to your computer and book a flight. But if you are near San Diego, show up because we're providing everything. We truly want people to be there to have fun, mingle. We're even gonna have a DJ, have fun, mingle, and learn. That is the big thing. Mingle, fun, mingle, and learn. And that's what we're all about. So yeah, RSVP and show up.
Awesome. I love it. And again, that event is in the lobby. So check that out. You can click on the link and get some more information to register for that. Samuel, what else? You got the event coming up in January. What else you got after that? Tell us,
Oh
give us some
man,
glimpse into kind of the future and what's ahead for EYS.
the
Talk a little bit
question
about
should
the
be,
school.
what do we not got after that? Okay, so we got a lot going on. I guess I'll just take an opportunity to kind of share some of the cool things we're doing in 2025. Our program is very comprehensive. The Medical Sales Career Builder is very comprehensive, and we just want to, we want to evolve, right? We want to evolve the success of our students. We want to evolve the success of the program. So we're building a lot of cool things. We already have sales training, but it's about to become almost like its own program of sales training within the Medical Sales Career Builder, so that it's one thing to learn the foundation of selling, to showcase your sales skills. And really, a lot of people learn they already have sales skills when they get into this kind of training and then demonstrate that in an interview. It's a whole nother thing, though, to get the job, and now you still have to deliver. And every company has sales training, but most companies don't talk about the things that we know you're going to experience your first year in the job. So this sales training we're trying to build out within our Medical Sales Career Builder program, so our students can come back and still have access, not spend or invest anything else, and continue to get better at their craft of being this rock star medical sales professional. So we're really excited about that. Like I said earlier, we're going to be bringing live training pretty soon to the medical training of our program. So really excited about that. And then my biggest thing, the school community. I'm so excited about the hangout that we're going to create. And this is not just going to be like, hey, come and hang out. This is going to be come and learn. Like I said, yes, we're in medical sales and we specialize in medical sales, but we are a company that's built on, we want to be where you go to transform. That's who Evolve Success is. The school community that we have, we're going to have all kinds of training that people don't have access to. So right now, some of you are listening to this and you guys are individual contributors in your organization, whether it be pharma, medical device, medical supplies, or something else. And your senior leaders are getting all kinds of amazing training. They really are. And they're getting this on a consistent, regular basis so they can continue to show up and be the powerful leaders that are leading the companies you work for. How cool would it be if you had an opportunity to get access to that kind of training? So that's what we're building the school community, right? Giving you the things that the people you admire and respect the most are regularly dealing with to show up the way they show up, and giving you an opportunity to show up that powerfully because you're learning what they're learning within our community. And that's why I'm so excited about the school community specifically, and that's what we'll be bringing in 2025.
I love it. It's so incredible to see not only what you've built so far, but where you're going and what you're building this year and for many years to come. I wish you were around in 2000 when I was trying to get in the industry. I mean, I really was. It's incredible, the knowledge you guys bring, the resources you have. To have someone that would have walked me through this process, and it's so incredible. And I can't encourage it enough, guys. I just dropped a link in the chat box there to the EYS page on the lobby platform. Sign up, get some more information. If you're interested, in having a conversation with you, I encourage you to talk to somebody on their team, dive a little bit deeper. And I can't recommend enough, just the impact they'll have as you go through that process.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, I do want to answer any questions anybody has. So feel free to
Yeah,
drop those in
I
the
see
chat as well.
people are popping up on camera. I can't wait. But I did see someone ask a question in the chat. Let me just
Yeah.
answer that. It was a while ago. Let me just answer that before we let everybody else answer. So the question was, are there specific certifications or training programs you recommend student take to boost their chances of getting hired? I mean, of course we're going to recommend ours, but honestly, certifications, here's the reality. And I think this should just be known. There is no certification for medical sales. It does not exist. There's no degree. There's no certification. There's no nothing. No matter what anyone claims, it does not exist right now. That it doesn't exist. And even if it did exist, it's not regulated, right? So training in medical sales is very unregulated right now, meaning everyone is doing whatever they want, and that's just that. Now, one of our goals is it's important for us to really stick to our motto of the right company, the right specialty, the right position. I mean, you have to have the right thing, because what we see is a lot of people get medical sales jobs and they quit within 6 months because they didn't know what the heck they were getting into. They took on a trauma role when they want nothing to do with being on call. They took on an operating room when they cringe when they see blood. They took on a farmer role when they don't want to wait in the room to get access to a doctor for 2 to 5 minutes. People just don't understand what they're getting into, and then they're quitting. It's not good for the industry. It's not good for the company. And of course, it isn't good for them. So our focus is really people need to know what they're getting into. People need to understand what they're getting into. And we build our programs to have that learning. So for certifications, we have our own certification, but it's connected to the skills you demonstrate within our program. Now, one of our ambitions is because we care so much about what happens to our students after they get the job, we are tracking them and we are getting to a point where we have a lot of data on all the students we've got into positions. And we're using that data to go to companies and say, hey, we want to establish a certification. We put 50 people into your company. They're all performing this way. Let's talk about it. But to answer your question directly, the one we recommend is ours, and there is no official certification to take.